Happy morning, students. Welcome to grade 6 English class. Today, we are going to have a revision for our periodic test, that is part 2. In the last class, we have revised Unit 1, prose, poem, and then supplementary. Today, we are going to revise the remaining portion, that is Unit 2, prose, and then letter writing, formal and informal letter, and also the grammar, articles, and then nouns and pronouns. So listen the class carefully. Children, the second process, how the dog found himself a new master. This is a prose, that is Unit 2 prose. This lesson, the main character of this lesson, look at the title itself, how the dog found himself a new master. Here the main character is the dog. That is, a dog was unhappy with his way of lifestyle, and that dog wanted a master who could look after his needs and was the strongest on the earth. So the dog chose first a wolf, then a bear, then next a lion as his masters one by one. But finally, the dog decided to stay with a man, a human being, who the dog found stronger than anyone else in the earth. So, the dog by this day is man's most loyal servant and found that no other master. So, this is the theme of the story, how the dog found himself a new master. Now look at the summary of the prose, how the dog found himself a new master. Listen carefully, children. In olden times, dogs, just like wolves, were forest dwellers. They were bold, free, and were not afraid of anyone. They were their own masters. Listen, children, that is in olden days, a long ago, the dogs and wolf were like a same family. The dog and the wolf, the appearance also somewhat similar for both the dog and the wolf. They were forest dwellers. They lived in the forest. They lived happily. They were their own masters. They were bold. Both the dogs and the wolves were very bold enough, free, and were not afraid of anyone. This dog also, the dog family and the wolf family doesn't bother about anybody else. They were free, bold, and were not afraid of anyone. This was happened in olden times. They were their own masters. They won't depend on others. They themselves do all their works. What are they needful, they do by themselves. They won't depend on others. This was later. Then one day, a dog who was sick and was scared of other stronger animals decided to look for a master who was the strongest on this earth. In olden days, both the wolf and the dogs were lived only in the forest, whereas they were their own masters. They were bold enough. The dog also bold enough, and the dog himself won as a master. They were bold enough. They won't depend on others. But later now, the dog was entirely changed, whereas the wolf stayed only in the forest, whereas the dog place was entirely changed. So the dog's character, the dog was afraid also. The dog became afraid on seeing any other creatures which is greater than the dog. So then one day a dog who was sick, not feeling well. The dog was tired in searching of food. So the dog wanted to depend on some other animal or some other master. So the dog was scared. Scared means afraid of other stronger animals. The dog was afraid on seeing the other animals which was stronger than the dog. And the dog decided to look for a master who was the strongest on this earth. So the dog wanted to have a master, that the dog wanted to be in a control of a master who was the strongest in the earth, who was the strongest on the earth. So the dog wanted to have a master for himself. To find his master, he began his search, and first of all he met a big wolf. He asked him if he would like to be his master. The wolf accepted him as a servant. Both of them started walking, and on the way they met a bear. The wolf tried to hide himself as soon as he noticed the bear. So listen children, so the dog was sick, so he can't find food for himself. So he decided to depend upon a master, to search a master for himself, and the dog decided himself to become a servant for the master. So listen children, then to find his master, to find that is to search of a master, the dog began to search here and there, and first, listen carefully, the dog first met a big wolf. So listen carefully, to find a master, the dog met a big wolf. Both the wolf and the dog were in the same, that is a similar appearance, whereas the dog decided to have the wolf as the master. So the dog asked the wolf that he would be like to be his master. That is the wolf. Wolf can be the master for the dog. So the wolf also accepted the words of the dog, and the wolf accepted the dog as a servant, and the wolf was the master. Both of them, here both of them means the wolf and the dog, started walking. They both started walking, and on the way they met a bear. So when the wolf became the master and the dog became the servant, they started to walk, have a walk, and on the way they both met a bear. The wolf tried to hide himself as soon as he noticed the bear. When the wolf, that is when the wolf and the bear started to walk here and there, they saw a bear. On seeing the bear, the wolf was afraid, and the wolf tried to hide himself as soon as he noticed the bear. When the wolf saw the bear at once, it started to hide himself, that is in front of the bear. When it saw the bear, the wolf tried to hide himself as soon as when he noticed the bear. On inquiring the reason, the dog came to know that the wolf considered the bear to be stronger than him. On this, the dog left him and joined the bear. So listen children, when the wolf saw the bear, it was scared and it hid himself. On inquiring the reason, so the dog asked the reason about this incident, that is when the wolf saw the bear and hid himself, the dog asked the reason why you are doing like this. So the dog came to know the reason that the wolf considered that the bear to be stronger than him. The wolf said that the bear was stronger than him. Here him means the wolf. The wolf replied the answer to the dog that the bear was stronger than him. Wolf was stronger than the bear. So on this the dog left him and joined the bear. So on understanding about the power of the wolf, the dog left the wolf and went along with the bear. So the wolf was afraid of the bear, so it was not stronger than the bear. So the dog left the wolf and then joined with the bear. Very soon the dog found the bear was afraid of the lion. The dog immediately left him and went to the lion. The lion agreed to accept him as his servant. Listen children, first there was a dog. It was search of food and also it decided to find a master. First the dog found the wolf and the dog requested the wolf to be the master for him. The wolf also accepted. Both the dog and the wolf When they started to walk, they found a bear. So on seeing the bear, the wolf was afraid and hid himself. So the dog decided that the wolf was not stronger than the bear. So the dog chose the bear as his master, and the dog asked the bear to be the master for him. So the dog immediately left the wolf and joined the bear. So the bear accepted the words of the dog and it became the master for the dog. Very soon, what happened? The dog found the bear was afraid of the lion. On seeing a lion, the bear was afraid. So the dog immediately decided that the bear was not stronger than the lion. So the dog left the bear and joined immediately with the lion. And the dog requested the lion to be the master for him. The lion also agreed and accepted the dog as his servant. The dog lived with him happily for a long time as he enjoyed a secure and happy life the way he wanted. The lion was the strongest animal in the forest. Once both of them were strolling amongst the rocks on a narrow path. Suddenly the lion saw a man and he asked the dog to run away with him to avoid any trouble. So the dog now chose the lion as his master. So the lion became the master and the dog became the servant. They enjoyed their life. The dog lived with the lion happily for a long time as he enjoyed a secure that it is a safety place. The lion secured him and happy life he wanted. The lion was the strongest animal in the forest. Among all other animals, the lion was the strongest animal in the forest. Once both of them, that is the dog and the lion, were strolling amongst the rocks on a narrow path. They were walking near on a narrow path. Suddenly the lion saw a man. The lion saw a man and the lion asked the dog to hide himself or to run away with him to avoid any trouble. On seeing the man, that is the human being, the lion was afraid and the lion ordered the dog to run away with him. So the lion and the dog decided to run away to avoid any trouble by the human being. As soon as the dog realized that man was the strongest creature on the earth, he bid adieu to the lion as well. Dog came to man as his servant and lived as a faithful servant to him then after. So listen children, the dog finally realized that the man was the strongest creature on the earth. Nobody is there to defeat him. So finally the dog stayed with the man. First the dog chose the wolf as his master, and second the dog chose the bear, and third the lion, and finally the dog stayed with the man and lived a happy life, and the dog became the man's most loyal servant and knows no other master is better than the human being. Now look at the question answer children. Why did the dog feel the need for a master? This is the main question children, important question. Why did the dog feel the need for a master? Why the dog need a master? The dog was sick and tired of going about alone in search of food, and he did not feel safe. So he decided to have a master. Listen carefully children. The dog was very sick. The dog was feeling unwell and it was tired of going here and there in search of food, and he feels that he was not safe by alone. So the dog decided to have a master. Look at the second question children. Who did he first choose as his master? Why did he leave that master? Who did he choose children? The dog first chose whom? The wolf. The dog first chose a wolf as his master, but he found the wolf afraid of the bear. So the dog chose a wolf. The first dog decided to have the wolf as his master, but he found the wolf was afraid of the bear. On seeing the bear, the wolf was afraid. So the dog left the company of the wolf. Who did he choose next? Who did the dog choose by the next? The next, the dog chose a bear as his master because he was stronger than the wolf. When the wolf was afraid on seeing the bear, so the dog decided to choose the bear as his master. For the next question, children, why did he serve the lion for a long time? The dog depends on the lion for the long time and it served for the lion for a long time. Why? What is the reason? The dog served the lion for a long time because he had no complaint against him, because the lion was not afraid of any other animals in the forest. The lion was the strongest creature in the forest. Secondly, he felt safe and secure. On depending on the lion, the dog felt himself as a safe and secure. No other wild animal dared to displease him. That all the animals in the forest was afraid on seeing the lion. So the dog was safe on the dependence of the lion. Look at the fifth question, children. Who did he finally choose as his master and why? Who did he choose finally? Yes, finally the dog chose the man as his master. The dog finally chose a man as his master. Even the lion was afraid of man, so the dog was convinced that man was the strongest creature on earth. So when the lion started to afraid on seeing the man, so the dog left the lion and decided to choose a man as his master. Children, the next is the composition, that is letter writing. We have learned two letters, there is a two types of letters. One is the formal letter and another one is the informal letter. Now let's recall how to write a letter writing. That is, one is from formal and another one is from informal. So listen carefully. So the formal letter we can write to a higher officials, such as you can say as a class teacher, principal, and then for companies and for the municipalities, like that. So that type of letter, or to the editor of the newspaper or business letter, so that is known as formal letter. And official letter, that is known as formal letter. And then informal letter means a letter we can write to your parents, friends, and then relatives, your brothers and sisters. So that type is known as informal letter. So again recall, children, that is a formal letter means a letter which we can write to your higher officials, such as your class teachers and then principal, or for corporate companies or some other official companies also, or official works. Whereas this informal you can say as a personal. Informal means that is a personal. A letter you can write to your parents, friends, relatives, and then brothers, sisters. So that type of letter is known as informal letter. Now let's practice how to write the formal letter first, and then next we shall learn how to write the informal letter. First let's learn how to write the formal letter. Formal letter is one written in a formal and ceremonious language and follows a certain stipulated format. Such letters are written for official purpose to authorities, dignitaries, colleagues, seniors, etc., and not to personal contacts, friends, or families. So listen carefully, children. Formal letter means a letter which must be in a formal, that is, must be in correct language without any mistake and follows a certain rules is there. Certain rules and format is there, children, to write the formal letter. Such letters are written, that is the formal letters are written for a official purpose to higher authorities, to higher dignities. Example you can say is for our class teacher, principal, and higher officials. So that is known as formal letter. This letter you should not write to the personal contacts, your friends or your family members. So that is known as informal letter. Again listen, children. Formal letter means a letter which we can write to your higher authorities or for an official purpose is known as formal letter. So many types of letters for this formal, children. There are a lot of types in writing a letter in formal type. Look at the few examples. There is a types of letter, the formal letter. Letter of inquiry, about inquiring something else. And then order letter. If you want to need any books or sports materials, you can order for a particular company to send you books. for sport materials also. So that is order letter. The next letter of complaint, reply to the letter of complaint. So an official purpose, a letter written to for a official purpose is known as formal letter, and these types of letters comes under the category of the formal type. Leave letter and reply to the letter of the complaint, the replying letter, promotion letters, sales letters, recovery letters. So there are lot of letters are there, business letter. So these are known as formal letter, a letter which we can write to for an official purpose. It must not include your personal work, it must be an official work. So that type of letter is known as formal letter. The format, how to write a formal letter. So there's a certain rules is there, children, to write the formal letter. You should not write as you wish like informal letter. For this formal letter, there's a certain rule. You have to follow the rules, and what are the steps you have to think while writing the formal letter. Listen carefully. The first step is the sender's address. Sender's address means the person who is writing this letter. So that person is known as sender, and the person who received this letter is known as receiver. So the person who is writing a letter, that if you write a letter, you are the sender. So you have to write your address, residential address or your official address. What is the according to the concept of the letter, you have to write this. So this is sender's address, that is your address. First you have to write it. Next, date. Date is very important. So the next you have to write the date. First sender's address, the next is the date you have to write. And third thing is the name or designation of the addressee, to whom you are submitting this. So for whom you are writing this letter, so that person's name with the designation, their dignity, everything you have to write it here. So their name, designation of that addressee, you have to write it. The next, address of the addressee, to whom you are submitting this letter, to whom you are writing this letter, or the receiver's address. You can say in a short form as the receiver's address. You can write the address of the receiver. The next, salutation means the words which you are writing as that is a respected sir or respected ma'am. So that is known as salutation. Again, listen children, first you have to write your address, sender's address, the next date, by the next the name and designation of the addressee, that is the receiver's address, with the pin code also you can write the receiver's address. The next, salutation means that is respected sir or respected ma'am, the words that is known as salutation. Subject is very important children. Subject, it must be a short form. So on reading the subject itself, the person who receives the letter can easily identify what is the theme or what is the concept, what is the letter is about. So you have to write the subject in a short form with the correct what is the letter is about. So you can write the subject. The next comes under the body of the letter. Body of the letter is very important. So body of the letter, first it introduce the introduction part, next content, next conclusion. What is the letter is about? That is what is the purpose for writing this letter, and then content. What is the reason for everything, you can write in the content, and finally conclusion. What do you need by this letter? So what are you expecting by this letter? So that is known as conclusion. The next, complimentary closing line is very important children. That is for the official letter or formal letter, you have to write thanking you. So thanking you is known as the complimentary closing. The closing of the letter, thanking you, you have to write it. Next, signature or the name of the center. So here complimentary closing line. The next you have to write yours faithfully, or you can write as that is a yours faithfully, yours truly. So according to the concept, according to the letter, you can use this yours sincerely. So this is official letter, so you can write according to that. So complimentary closing means you have to mention thanking you, and then next yours faithfully or yours truly or like that, or yours sincerely, you can write according to yours, or you can yours obediently, you can write. The next is signature, or you can write mention your name also. And then finally designation of the sender, you can write your name. If suppose you are the school leader means you can mention in that according to the concept of the letter, you can write it. So again, listen carefully children. First you have to write the sender's address, that is your address, you have to write it. The next, date is very important. Next, third step is the receiver's address, to whom you are writing this letter. So that is the third part. And fourth one is the subject. You can write it. Subject is very important. The next is salutation, that is respected sir or ma'am. According to the question you can frame. Next, body of the letter. The body of the letter includes introduction, content, and also this closing. And finally you can write as the complimentary closing, thanking you, and then yours faithfully. You can mention your signature, or you can your name with a designation also. So this is the format to write the letter writing, that is for formal letter. Format, or you can say, is the example for writing the formal letter. So listen carefully children. For the formal letter, first you have to write the sender's address. So that is the first thing. And then next, date. The third thing is the receiver's address with a place pin code you can mention. The next one is the subject is very important. And the next thing after the subject is the salutation, that is respected sir or ma'am. Next, body of the letter. It includes the introduction part, and then theme, that is the concept, and conclusion. Finally is the complimentary closing. And then you can mention your name or your signature with the designation. Example for the formal letter children. So listen here, 16 Ring Road, Nagpur. So it is the sender's address, the person who is writing the letter. So that person's address is known as sender's address. That is the first one. Look at this next, November 30, and then date with the year is mentioned, for example. So that is the second one, date. First one is the sender's address. Your address you have to write like this in the left side. You should not put any comma there. And then next is the date, you have to write it. And third step is the receiver's address, the name or the designation and the place, everything you have to write. That is the third step. This is the receiver's address, the person who receives the address. So that person's address is the third step. This dear sir, so that is known as salutation, or you can mention as respected sir also. So that is known as salutation. Fourth point. And then fifth one is the subject. Subject is very important. Look at here, inquiry about CAT coaching classes. That is about a coaching class. The letter is about the inquiry about the coaching class. So subject is very important. The subject must be like this children, as a short, but it includes the entire theme, entire meaning of the letter. So subject is very important. After the subject is the body of the letter. So body of the letter you can divide into 3 paragraphs or 2 paragraphs. According to the concept you can write it. So here it is divided into 3 paragraphs. If you need, you can divide into 2 paragraphs also. The first it gives the introduction part. The next is the concept of the letter, and third is the conclusion. What do you need from this letter? So that is known as conclusion. This body of the letter, according to the concept you have to write the body of the letter. The next is the complimentary closing you have to do. So here, thanking you. This is for the formal letter, so you can mention as thanking you. The next you can mention your name with a signature or with a designation. Here with a kind regard. So you can mention as yours faithfully, yours obediently, or yours sincerely. So according to the letter you can mention like this, and you can finish with your signature. So this is the procedure to write a formal letter. Next one is the informal letter. Informal letter also referred to as a friendly letter, or you can say as a personal letter. Children, is a personal letter written to your friends, relatives. So informal letter to your friend, it is written in a personal fashion. So whereas the formal letter is an official purpose, whereas this informal letter is for a personal work. So we can write a letter to your parents, relatives, brother, sister, and then your cousin also. So that is known as informal letter. Look at the types of informal letter, or you can say is the topics for informal letter. Informal letter means writing a letter for a personal purpose. Look at this, inviting a friend for a ceremony, say for your birthday, for your birthday party. If you are invite a friend, so that letter is informal letter. Calling a friend for a trip or holiday, that is spend her or his holiday along with you, that is also informal letter. Asking sorry or apologizing someone else, so that is also informal letter. And you are congratulating your friend for his or her success on her achievement, so that is known as also informal letter. Just to ask for the well-being of a person, that is the health, how you are, that is you are asking or get greetings, so that are also known as the informal letter. When you are greeting your person, or when you are asking the health of about a person, so that is also known as the informal letter. An invitation for a marriage, when you are inviting a friend or your cousin or somebody else for your marriage. So that also comes under the informal letter. So informal letter means personal letter. So these are the few examples: writing a letter to your friend, inviting him or her to your birthday party, to spend holidays along with you, to attend the marriage of your family function or your some functions in your home, and also the congratulating your friend or asking sorry. So these types of letters are say you can known as the personal letter, or you can name it as an informal letter. Formal letter, there is also certain format to write the informal letter also, children. That is the informal letter. How to write this informal letter? That is a personal letter, you can say this. Personal letter means writing a letter to your parents, friends, relatives, and then brothers and sisters. So that is known as informal letter. The first you have to write the address of the sender, the person who is writing the letter. That is your address, you have to write it. So that is the first step, address of the sender. The next is the date of writing a letter. When you are writing the letter, so that date you have to write it. First address of the sender, the next date of writing a letter. So you have to write the sender's address, that is your address. The next step is the date you have to mention, and then next, after writing the date, is very important, children. After writing the date, salutation, or you can say as the greeting, that is my dear brother, my dear sister, my dear father. So according to that you have to mention the salutation. The next, body of the letter, it must include introduction part, and then content, the finally conclusion, and finally you have to mention your signature, or you can mention your name also. So that is the procedure to write the informal letter. This example for informal letter, children. First you have to write the sender's address. So that is the first step. Here look at the title, informal letter, inviting friend to come to their place. So this is an invitation letter, you can say as inviting your friend. So this is informal letter. The first step is you have to write the sender's address. Look at here, the address is given, the sender's address. The next thing is the date. Date is very important. First one, sender's address. Second one, date. And third thing is salutation, or you can say as greeting. My dear friend or my dear father. So that is known as salutation. The salutation, you can write the body of the letter. It must include the introduction part, then concept, and finally conclusion. And last step you can complete with your signature. Here no need to mention as thanking you, because this is a personal letter. For this personal letter you need not to mention this thanking you. Just you can complete with the complimentary closing. So just as a yours lovingly, or yours to just a gentle affectionately, likewise you can complete it, and finally complete with your name or with your signature. So this is the procedure to write the informal letter. First you have to write the sender's address. The next is the date. Third step is the salutation or greeting. And fourth one is the body of the letter. It must include the introduction part, that is a concept, and conclusion. And finally you have to end with your signature. So this is the format to write the informal letter. Now let's recall the grammar portions. The first one is articles. Definition for articles, children. Articles are words that define a noun as specific or unspecific. Listen, articles are the words used before noun. You all know about noun. Noun means it is a naming word. Name of a person, place, animal or thing. So that is known as noun. So articles are used before the noun and to refer whether the noun is specific or unspecific. Article are divided into two types, children. One is the definite article, whereas another one is the indefinite article. The articles such as the is known as definite, whereas a or an are known as indefinite article. Again listen, children. The is known as definite article. A and an are known as indefinite article. That is a and an. First we have to analyze what is the difference between a and an, the article. A and an have the same meaning. So a and an are known as indefinite articles. A and an are known as indefinite articles. This indefinite articles, that is a and an, depends on the sound at the beginning of the next word. So this is used to define a singular noun only. Both the article a and an are used to define only about the singular noun. Either it is a name of a person, place, animal or a thing. It is used only for a single thing. So this is an article, that is an indefinite article, is used for a singular noun. So here listen children, where you have to use the article a and where you have to use the article an. So before the noun we can use this article either a, an or the. Here where you have to use the article, that is a. So listen children, the indefinite article a, the articles a and an are used to refer to a noun. For the first time they are called indefinite articles. So we use a. First concentrate on the article a. We use a before a singular noun with a consonant sound. So the consonant sound, before the consonant sound we can use the article as a for a singular noun, and the noun begin with the consonant sound. You all know about the vowel and consonant. A, E, I, O, U is known as vowel, and the remaining letters and remaining sound are known as consonant sound. Here we can use the article a before the consonant sound. Look at the example book. B. The sound book is the consonant sound. So we can use the article as a. Here it is mentioned only book, singular thing only. So you can use the article as a or an according to the sound. So this is a consonant sound. So we have used a. Next frog. This is also consonant sound, singular. So you can use the article as a. Lemon, singular. It is a consonant sound. So you can use the article as a. Car. This is also singular noun, whereas the sound is a consonant sound. Car. So you can use the article as a. Dog is also singular noun with a consonant sound. So you can use the article as a. Next one, truck. Truck is also begin with the consonant sound. It is a singular noun. So you can use the article as a. Come to this side, whereas the article an, where how you have to use the article in by which place. That is a before the vowel sound. The noun, singular noun, before the vowel sound you can use the article as an. Apple. A is there. Apple is the singular noun, whereas it begin with the vowel sound. So you can use the article as an apple. Egg is also vowel sound. So you can use an. Insect, vowel. So you can use an. Orange, umbrella, actor. So these are vowel sound, so that you can use the article as an. And you can use here an, that is the apple and orange. So listen carefully children, a and an you can use before a singular noun only. According to the sound we have to present either a or an. If a singular noun begin with a consonant sound, you can use the article as a. If the noun, singular noun begin with the vowel sound, we can use the article as an. So this is the procedure to use the article either a or an. For a singular noun only you have to use, but if it begin with a consonant sound you have to use the article a. If it begin with the vowel sound you have to use the article as an. Important thing children, see, the sound of the letter is important. You have to concentrate only on the sound of the letter. Should not concentrate only there is a vowel. So look at this example. It is very important. A house. A house. It is the house. The word house is the sound is with the consonant sound. So we can mention as the article as a. But look at this word R. But it is start with the letter consonant. But what is the sound? It is a vowel sound and R. R is there. So here H at the beginning of R is silent. So the sound is R sound here. So in between, that is a before that you have to use the article an. Don't look at the letters around children. You have to concentrate on the sound. So here we have mentioned as an R. So here also H for house. Here also H for R. But what is the difference here? House, this is a consonant sound, whereas R, here H is silent and the sound is R sound. So an R. The same way look at the next example, uncle. That is the letter U is there. So here we have mentioned as an uncle. That is no problem. It is the vowel sound. So here have mentioned letter. So whereas here look at this university. What is the sound? University. The U at the beginning of the university sounds like U. So the sound is U here. So this is a consonant sound. University U. So this is consonant. So if it is, even though the letter is a vowel letter, you have to concentrate on the sound. If it is the consonant sound, you have to use the article as a university. So you have to concentrate more on the sound. The next one is the article the. That is the article the is known as, that is the definite article. The article the is known as definite article. This article, that is the, specifies the noun. It is used when the noun referred to has already been mentioned. The is the definite article. Now let's practice the usage of the article the. We use the when we talk about a particular, a specific person, place, animal or a thing. Whereas this indefinite article a and an are known as unspecific. Whereas this article, that is a definite article, is known as specific, or you can say as a particular thing. So listen children, where we can use the article as the point of compass, that is the north, the south. For the directions you can use the article as the northernmost point. So for this you can use the article as the. Next, union of countries. For the union countries and states you can use it. So the Russian Federation, the United States of America. So for the countries, unions of countries only you have to use, and then for states also. The next one, groups of island. For island you can use it. The Philippines. So the Maldives. Now for that, the islands, you can use this article the. For the name of the sea, we can use this article the. The Dead Sea, the Arabian Sea. Likewise, you can use it. Next, also for the Gulf, you can use the article the Gulf of Mexico, the Persian Gulf. Likewise, for the Gulf, you can use it. Next, group of lakes, the Great Lakes. For the lakes name, you can use the article as the. The next one, rivers. For rivers, seas, oceans. For these things, you cannot use the article as the. The Ganga, the Yamuna, the Indian Ocean. Likewise, you can use it. Next, for canals and channels are also you can use it the. Next, poles. So for the northern pole, the southern pole. When you are specifying, when you point out for a particular thing, we can use the article as the. The Republic of Cuba, the republics, you can use the article as the. Next, for continents. For the continents, you can use the article as the Arctic, the Antarctic. So the Antarctic is the coldest continent. So here we can use the article as the. The next, group of mountains. Group of mountains, or you can say as the mountain ranges, the Himalayas. So you can use like this for the mountain ranges. Next, for the oceans also, the Indian Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. So you can mention the article the. Next, for waterfalls also. So the Angel Falls, the Victoria Falls. Next, for the deserts, the Sahara, the Gobi. So like that, for the desert place also you can mention the article as the. Again listen children, we use the article a for rivers, seas, oceans, mountain ranges, group of islands. For famous buildings also, for example you can say as Taj Mahal. And for holy books, the Quran, the Bible, like etc. Then names of newspaper, the Times of India, titles, the PM of India, the CM of Tamil Nadu, like that. The next, natural objects such as the sun, the moon, and then names of trains and ships, the Titanic, like that. And then before superlatives, this is very important. Before superlatives also we can use the article as the eldest son, the biggest, the greatest. When you are using the before the superlatives, we can use the article the. Second chapter grammar is noun and pronouns. First, let's have a look for noun. Noun is the name of a person, place, animal or thing. Noun you can say as a naming word. It is the name of a person, place, animal or thing. Look at this example. Ali. Ali is the name of a person. Sailcart is the name of a place. Chair is the name of a thing. For what are the things there is a name is fixed. So that is known as noun. Noun means it is a naming word. Now let's have a recall of the kinds of nouns. The nouns are divided into two categories. One is the concrete nouns and whereas another one is the abstract noun. These concrete nouns are divided into four categories. That is the four types. And then abstract noun is only one. So here concrete noun means there is the four types there. Proper noun, common noun, collective noun, material noun and then abstract noun. Again listen children. The types of noun are five types. The one is the proper noun. Second one is the common noun. And third one collective noun, fourth one material noun, and fifth one is the abstract noun. First we have to concentrate on the proper noun. So listen carefully children. Proper noun means it is a name, a specific name given to a, that is a person, place, animal or a thing. That is known as proper noun. Again listen carefully children. Proper noun is the specific name given to a person, place or animal is known as proper noun. Look at the example. Rajpath, John, Delhi. A specific name is given to a person, place, animal or a thing. If I called you your name, so that is known as proper noun. The next second one is the common noun. Common noun is the general name given to a person, place, animal or a thing. Commonly if I call you as a boy, so that is known as common noun. If I call you as a name, that is known as proper noun. Common noun, look at the example, you can say as boy, school, student, teacher. Student means a general thing, whereas if I point out your name, that is proper noun. The next one is the collective noun. So collective noun means a group. Collective, the name itself you can identify. Collective nouns is a group. A noun that is used to refer a group of people, animals or things. For example, you can say as a crowd of people, a bundle of sticks, a family. So family is the entire, that is a 4 or 5 members includes a family. Group of members is known as family. So that is collective noun. Now look at the next one, material noun. A material noun refers to the material or substance from which things are made. Material noun means from which things are made is known as material noun. For example, you can say as gold, wood, petrol, rubber, clay. So from wood we can create so many furniture. So that is material noun. And the final one is the abstract noun. Abstract noun do not name any person, place or animal or thing. They name only qualities, relationships and ideas which we think or we can feel but we cannot see or touch. So that is known as abstract noun. For example, here it is mentioned as patience, childhood. So we can just feel, we can't see or touch. So that is known as abstract noun. For example, you can say yes, joy, sorrow, freedom, happiness. So these are known as abstract noun. We can just feel or we can't see or touch. So that is known as abstract noun. Again listen children. Noun means it is a naming word. It is the name of a person, place, animal and thing. This noun is divided into 5 kinds, that is proper noun, common noun, collective noun, material noun and abstract noun. Proper noun means specific name is known as proper noun. Common noun means a general name. Collective noun means group is known as collective noun. Material noun means from which things are made. And then finally abstract noun means which we can think or feel but we can't see or touch. The pronouns. Pronouns are words that replaces a noun. A pronoun is a word that is used in the place of a noun. Instead of noun, we can use this pronoun. So first, if you are talk about a boy or girl, we can use the particular boy or girl's name. Whereas in the second time, when you speak about the same person, instead of that noun, that's a name, you can use she or he. You can use the pronoun like that. So that is known as pronoun. It replaces the noun. Pronoun means it replaces the noun. I, me, she, we, they, who. These are known as pronouns. So look at this example children. These are known as pronouns. Pronoun means a word that is used in the place of noun. Pronoun children, that is personal pronoun means are used for a specific object. For a specific object or for a specific person, we can indicate the personal pronouns children. And then look at the example for personal pronoun. He went to the market. Here he is used as the male gender. So here listen children, the word, the pronoun used here is he. Instead of writing the name, that is the Rahul went to the market, here we have used the pronoun as he. He or she, according to the gender, we can mention the pronoun. So that is known as personal pronoun. I, we, you, he, she, it, they are known as personal pronouns. So here for the male gender, we have used the personal pronoun as he. He went to the market. Look at the next one. She is doing the laundry. So here she represents to the female gender. So instead of writing the name, Geeta is doing the laundry. Instead of mention the name as Geeta, here it is mentioned the personal pronoun as she. She is used for the female gender. She is doing the work or she is doing the laundry. So according to the gender, we have to use the personal pronoun, either he or she or it. Emphatic pronoun. This emphatic pronoun means the compound personal pronouns. This emphatic pronoun are also called emphatic pronoun because when they are used for the purpose of emphasis, it is used for the purpose of emphasis. So that is known as emphatic pronoun. Emphatic pronoun emphasizes either a noun or pronoun in a sentence. So emphatic pronouns means it emphasizes either a noun or it may be emphasize a pronoun in a sentence. Here, look at the example, children. I had do it myself. Here myself is given there, so it is known as emphatic pronoun. So it emphasizes the noun or it may be it emphasizes the pronoun. The pronoun here I is mentioned there. So here you can use it emphasizes the pronoun myself. Myself here it is used as the emphatic pronoun. Reflexive pronoun. You use a reflexive pronoun as the object of a preposition when the object of the preposition refers to the same person or thing as the subject of the verb in the same class. Here, the name is the reflexive, means it reflects. It indicates that the subject of the sentence also receives the action of the verb. The subject receives the action of the verb, and here the reflective pronouns, it reflects the subject of the sentence. It reflects the action or the subject. So here look at the example. I was thoroughly ashamed of myself. Here I is the subject, ashamed is the verb. Here it reflects, here the person itself ashamed, by that is a myself is mentioned here. So here myself is known as reflexive pronoun. Here the subject I that also receives the action ashamed. So this is known as reflexive pronoun. Pronouns are used to ask questions. The word interrogative means it is a question word. Interrogative pronouns are used to ask a question. So interrogative means you can identify as a question word. What, which, who, whom, whose are known as question words, or you can say as the interrogative pronouns. Example for interrogative pronouns, children. Who took the book? Here who is used to refer a person, that is for a subject. So who is the interrogative pronoun. Whom is she talking to? Here whom refers to the person and it indicates as the object. Whom is she talking to? Next one, whose car is this? This is for a person. Whose. To identify the person, for the possessiveness we have used here. Whose car is this? The next one, for the thing, what do you want for lunch? What are the things you need for lunch? So this is known as interrogative pronoun. And the next one, which refers to for either for a person or for a thing. You can say for the choice. For the choice you can use this, that is the interrogative pronoun which. Which of them is the tallest? Which color do you prefer, this or that? So for this purpose we can use the interrogative pronoun which. Again listen children, interrogative pronouns are used to ask a question word, that is what, which, who, where, whom, whose are known as interrogative pronouns. So children, we have revised for our upcoming periodic test, that is unit 1 poem prose supplementary and also unit 2 prose, and then 2 chapters grammar and also 2 composition we have practiced. So learn thoroughly children, spell it, read louder, and then practice well for your periodic test, write your exam well. Thank you.